Hey Photo World, welcome back to another episode here on TakeandTalkPics.com. This is another episode from the former podcast. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join the email list. Let's get to that 1,000 subscriber marker so that way I can add a new video every single week. Enjoy. Hey Photo World, thanks for being here, and I know you love Take and Talk Pics, but I know there's more on iTunes to take a look at than just our podcast. Head over to TakeandTalkPics.com where you'll have an opportunity to win an iTunes gift card. Just enter your name and email and hit the subscribe button, and you will be automatically entered for our weekly drawing for that iTunes gift card. Good luck.
Photography, I think, always has ups and downs, so you have to keep pushing through all of that, because then when you get that job, you feel...
Right before our interview, I had a wedding client call me and tell me that they broke up and the wedding's gone, So it's like, great, there goes a day of work that I needed. So, I mean, you're right. It's ups and downs. And then I have an awesome interview today. So,
yay.
Welcome, Photo World, to Take and Talk Pics. This is episode 1. I'm your host, Rob Kruger, and thank you for tuning in. Today's featured guest is Andreea Radutoiu. Andrea is a former fashion model turned high fashion photographer and has shot for clients such as Olay, Esquire, InStyle, Elle, The Wall Street Journal, and O.P.I, just to name a few. Andrea, welcome to Take and Talk Pics. I've given our listeners a brief overview of who you are. Please introduce yourself to Photo World.
Hi, Rob. First, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to be on the show.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of exciting to talk about photography, so that's great. And again, so thank you so much for the opportunity.
For sure.
Let's see, a little bit about me. I grew up in Romania, and I left in 1990, right after the revolution. I bring that up a little bit because I've been thinking about the fact that as a kid, I don't remember cameras being around often. So I wasn't really surrounded or exposed to photography until I moved to the United States. So as soon as I arrived in the States, I started modeling, I think within a year or so, maybe two. I started traveling. I went to Tokyo. Then I moved to New York City, where I actually started doing the fashion shows, which actually was an amazing thing to do because I started going to Paris, London, New York. Well, I lived in New York, of course, but Paris, London, Milan, which was an eye-opener for me to the world of art and photography. I got to shoot with amazing photographers. And I got to see a lot of cool gear and a lot of people doing their thing, which I think I was a bit of a sponge because when I started photography, I was realizing that I knew a lot of things. So I'm pretty much a self-taught photographer.
Nice.
I didn't go to school for it. I didn't go to classes for Photoshop. That was tough. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm pretty much self-taught in a way.
Awesome. Even classes are tough. So I mean, that Photoshop's just huge. So I mean, I've taken my fair share of photography classes and now teach photography at College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, Illinois. But yeah, Photoshop is huge. So we're always learning. I'm still figuring it out. So
I
awesome.
spent 4 hours on one image in the beginning, I think, on my first job.
Good. You're halfway there. No.
4 hours on one image.
It's worth it though. Some great things come out of it. So awesome. Sure. Well, here at Take and Talk Pics, we're about sharing stories. So if you can dive in as deep as you can on these questions, just get us as much information so we're right there with you. That'd be great. And of course, it's just up to what you want to share and where you feel comfortable. But bring us along for that ride. So Andrea, let's start some inspiration flowing. And what's a great quote or a mantra that you live by for your photography and your business?
I live by keep failing until one day you do something different.
I love that.
Thank you. Somebody said that to me once, and it made me think. I'm like, what do you mean keep failing? And then I really thought about it, and I understood that unless I keep making mistakes, I won't be learning and growing.
Right.
So, and I'm always looking for something different within myself.
Edison, invented the light bulb, and he came up with 10,000 ways to go through that system to finally find that one that worked. And people are like, you failed so many times. How'd you get through it? It's like, I didn't fail so many times. I learned 9,999 ways not to do something. So, that learning from your mistakes is huge. And you're right. It just jumpstarts that success point. Once you finally hit that thing that works, you kind of found where you can niche down and move forward. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we need to fail a bit.
Right.
We can't be afraid of it. Although it sucks when it fails.
Oh, it's the worst. I mean, it'll just ruin your day. As business owners, we're on this roller coaster of ups and downs, and it's crazy. So I resonate with that. I hope Photo World is understanding and resonating with that as well. That's a great way to look at it. So
cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It works for me in my head.
It works on your images too, because we have proof showing what you're capable of. So clearly it's paid off.
Thank you.
Can you share with Photo World what sparked your interest in photography enough to pursue it as a career?
Yeah, I never thought of it as a spark. For me, it happened when I was gifted a Holga and 3 rolls of film from a friend. And I looked at it, I'm like, what is this plastic little camera?
Yeah.
So I started shooting, and I got more and more curious about what can I do, learn about light. Light was definitely interesting with the Holga because things keep seeping through, and, depends on what batch you get. And I wanted to know a little bit more about everything that came with photography. So I started to shoot mainly for fun. I didn't really think of it as a career. Right. I was curious about everything. So when I got my first shoot, I was, by the way, incredibly nervous. I was like, wow, you guys are trusting me to do this? Okay, here we go. But after that, I started to sort of see it as a career. It started with a lot of fun for me. And
so it kind of just blended into that, from an interest to a passion to I could do something with this.
Yeah.
I mean,
and also I think I got a little bit of the courage after my first shoot when it didn't fail,
Right. There was some proof in that pudding, just.
Yeah, and I got really, it's that adrenaline that kicks in during a shoot. It's not knowing and knowing at the same time. It's funny how and you don't know what's going to happen, but yet you do know. It's just the nervousness of I was nervous probably for the first hour going in, and then I found myself in my element.
Well, that's the way I feel like it goes all the time. There's like this subtle fear that just kind of builds up for no reason, even though you're confident and, at least enough to go for it. Especially early on, it's like, I can do this. I said yes, so I can do this.
Yeah.
But, that fear kind of hits you and you're like, can I do this? And, you start doing it, find you, it's like, you know what? I'm doing my thing. I'm in my element, and they get it. I get it. And it works out. So,
yeah.
I mean, and when it doesn't, you just learn why. So that way next time it definitely works out.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, looking at other people's photography for me when I was starting out, I really fell in love, honestly, with the timelessness of a photo. The fact that you can take a moment, you can capture a moment in somebody's life, or take a manufactured idea or a fantasy and bring it to life. To me, was an incredible experience to fall into somebody else's storytelling. And I like that feeling. It's pretty much part of what could have sparked my interest too.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like Photo World, hear that just looking at others' photos kind of hits some realizations, whether it's inspiration on what you might be able to do on your next shoot or just where you're at currently, where you want to be. I know in my personal photography, I've just been pushing more towards the commercial side lately and pursuing commercial jobs. They just resonate with me because I get to have more of an impact on the creative design of the image, rather than with a situation like family portraits or weddings where you take what you have and you do what you can with it. And, you bring your toolbox with you and you go through all those things and make sure you get some great pictures out of the day. But for the most part, a lot's out of your control. And the commercial side of things, or what you do, fashion, is very thought out and methodical and you get to create and design your vision and tell that story. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love that part.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it feels good at the end when you have this successful product, this image that can, like you said, is timeless and will stand out. So
yeah,
very good.
I always think about it, and I try to encourage the viewer to look beyond the surface and kind of create their own world when they look at an image. Just like when I look at an image, I create my own world. The photographer may have had a completely different thing in their head and a different world imagined. But for me as an individual, through my life experience or how I look at the image, I like that. I like to find myself in my own world, in their image, without explaining.
Andrea, for this next question, we kind of touched upon it for the mantra or quote that you had for us about, keep going, keep failing until you succeed, and then you know what works. So can you bring us to a specific time, one situation where you had a failure moment or learning the hard way and, coming out from that mistake or that interaction that, okay, next time I got to do this.
Right.
What's a good story there?
Well, for me, one was I was asked to do a job once, and I wasn't really feeling it once I started to talk about it, and it felt like there was a lot of cooks in that kitchen, one too many, and I was very uncomfortable with it from the beginning, and I did do the job. I did it because I thought it would be a fun challenge. There was no budget, no nothing. So I thought, great, no budget, challenge, a lot to be done. This could be interesting. But I got to say, I thought for me, it was a bit of a failure. And what I learned is don't really take a job you don't feel from the beginning. It's both artistically, creatively. It's something that I didn't connect with, just for the challenge to see if I could connect.
Right.
So the failure was a learning experience to never do that again. So do not take something you don't feel just because it's a job.
It's that gut feeling. You got to go with your gut. And if it's telling you, you know what, something's not right here, then it's okay to move on to something that is going to be right.
Yeah, and that's pretty much, I think, one of the lessons I learned. So don't do something that you're not feeling just because it's a job. There's many jobs, and if there aren't, just keep shooting no matter what. There will be.
Awesome.
The job is you being creative. The job is you getting everybody interested in what you're shooting, getting them involved. And if that doesn't happen, for me personally, it doesn't really work. So
True.
I definitely learned not to take something I'm not feeling. It will be bad for the client. It will be bad for me. It will be just a miserable world.
No, it's good. And then from start to finish, it's just not a great thing going on. And, you kind of have that dirty feeling of like, that shouldn't have happened.
And there's a disappointment that comes with it, and because you want to do your best and you want to create something, but sometimes it's just not there, and that's okay.
Right. For this next one, this actually might kind of be a good segue into here. Can you share with Photo World something that you find important in your photography, like a piece from your workflow, something that kind of has to go into it every time? And, for a second there was like, just feel it could be one of them, but do you have something else?
Stay loose, keep an open mind, definitely. Go with the flow with everything that comes. For me, when I start a job, I go through every check I can, from the gear to the shot list, be as clear as possible on each shot. Things do change sometimes, so I'm always trying to be super prepared creatively. Then when they do change and the pressure is on a little bit, I can tweak it, and I can really take a moment and be free flowing. So to me, that's pretty much about staying loose. Everything can change at any time. But putting together a group of really creative people and people who can challenge me at the same time as I challenge them, it's very important. So your team is incredibly important. Communicating my vision to them is incredibly important. Because if there's a weak link in that chain, the whole thing, it's not going to come out right.
Right. Well, no, that's great. Great knowledge there. I mean, they tell you when you're doing photography, oh, go to conferences, meet people, network. And you kind of hit the nail on the head there when you said, your team is important. That's what it is. It's just your tightest network.
No,
and, if they're not on board, if you're not all on the same page, you're right. It's not going to go, perfectly. Not that anything is going to go perfectly, but it's going to have bigger problems than it needed to.
Yes,
so having that tight team.
That ability to collaborate. Even, my assistants, everything from my assistant to the hair and makeup to the model to just everybody on that set. If you have them on your team and then you are on their team, the collaboration is much, much greater. And they are there they want to help and they want to create. That's why they're doing this, I think, and if you get a great group of people, you cannot fail. Everybody's on point, ready to go.
Awesome. Yeah. Directing a little bit more specifically to the business end of things, is there something you could share that kind of contributes to growth or success in a photography business, whether it's yours or what you've seen been working for most others?
Never stop shooting, really. Sometimes, there's times in the career where you think, oh, I'm going to give up. It's not working out. This is terrible,
Absolutely.
When you think that, I would say just pick up the camera and go out and shoot anything you feel. Just point the camera at anything, at a leaf, at a pole, at a person that's walking down the street, and just wait for that beautiful moment, that sound, that click, when you've captured
just
something.
Find that inspiration, but have a camera with you to find it. So
yeah, even if you never shoot anything that day, just go out, bring your camera until you feel something, and when you feel it, you'll shoot it.
That's awesome.
So
I love that.
Never stop shooting, really. Social media also is a great tool.
Social media, just to kind of let the brain go a little bit?
Yeah.
Or to share.
Yeah, share.
Yeah. That's awesome. Andrea, can you share with Photo World a time that you kind of felt like the I made it as a photographer moment? Can you break it down into a story where it's like, you know what, I'm here, I'm doing this. This is me, I'm a photographer for sure, and I'm loving it.
I don't know how everybody else looks at the I made it moment, I think I have my I made it moment on every job. For example, when I shot Oil of Olay, the campaign for Romania, that was I made it, and this moment. When I shot James Cameron and his wife, Susie Amos Cameron, that was I made it moment for me. My first shoot was a complete amazing I made it moment. It was my first shoot. I made it, shooting that was, so every shoot I have an I made it moment or an aha moment. But for me, it's more like, let's do this. That's how I look at
it's acknowledging the progress, So at Photo World, take that with you, that you may have your day-to-day photography that you do, but realize that that is an opportunity to have that moment where it's like, oh my gosh, we got this, that's portfolio worthy, so that way the next job you go, oh my gosh, we got this, that's portfolio worthy, and repeat that, because it's going to make you feel better, it's going to grow your business, it's going to grow your ability as a photographer, and you keep learning. So
absolutely,
that's a great way to look at it. Awesome.
Thank you.
I
know how.
I'm going to skip this next one because I kind of split it into, was there an aha moment during your career? But I feel like we've already covered it, and we hit it that you can. No, you're good. That we just, you're feeling it each job, and that's bringing you to the next job. So that's awesome. During your photography career so far, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Good question. The best advice I have ever received was given to me by someone close to me, a very, very good friend. And he always said, don't shoot to please a client or who you think you might want to work with. Shoot from the heart. Shoot what you feel, and then everything else will sit in place.
Don't only shoot for the client. That's the job. Don't shoot for the client. Shoot for you.
Yeah.
Because they're hiring you.
In the beginning when I started shooting, I was always thinking, well, I have to shoot like this because everybody else shoots this way. I have to, if I want to work, I have to shoot this way, and I have to try to learn how to shoot that way. And then in the end, it was becoming a little bit frustrating because I wasn't finding my own voice.
Well, you're catering to everyone else but you, and that doesn't feel right, you know?
And you can see it. You would see it in the photos. I wasn't there. It wasn't something I was shooting because I was feeling. I was shooting because I was trying to figure out how to get a job or...
Right.
So let go of the job. Just the job is your passion.
If you had to start your photography all over, assuming that you would have all the same gear and photographic knowledge that you currently have, what would you do first to begin your new photo business?
Find the right team. Definitely.
The right team.
Find the right team. Get out of your head, let it go, and shoot what inspires you.
Get involved with the right people. So that way you can become a part of that group of the right people, so you know you're the right person. That's awesome.
And let the work speak for you. People will, just let the work speak for you. You will work. It's not about getting a job. The job will come if you shoot the things that you believe in.
Go ahead, Andrea, and share with Photo World one parting piece of guidance.
I feel like I'm so repetitive, to be honest.
It's okay. Clearly it worked for you, so... I think it's great.
Do it because you love it. Do it for the creation. Do it to inspire, to open the minds, and open your own mind to the creative world. Have fun with the creativity. Be big. Be bold. I forget that sometimes, I have to say. But when I push an idea through, I find that the best way for me to start is with the impossible, and then go from there. Take it down. Push as far as I can. So that's pretty much what I would say as a parting gift.
Do the impossible, or push for the impossible, and then scale it back to, whatever may be the reality. You don't know about it, how far you can go, unless you're striving for the highest level. So just go for it. That's awesome.
Yes.
Andrea, can you go ahead and share with Photo World out there a good way to reach you? Do you have a Twitter handle or Instagram that's good to follow?
Hello, Photo World. Yes, I do. I'm on Twitter, and I am on Facebook, but not incredibly active on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I keep it mainly for friends and family, but I do have Instagram, which I love since it's all photo related.
Awesome.
And my site, pretty much, which is really how people get in touch with me via my website.
Yeah, at the very least, everybody can head over to AndreaR.com and see her beautiful work and get to know her a little better on the bio there and everything that her website has to offer. So, Andrea, I cannot thank you enough for your time today and sharing such great value. Photo World thanks you, and happy shooting.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, and I can't wait to hear other photographers on your show. I'm actually quite excited to tune in constantly. And thank you so much again, Rob, for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Photo World. Do you travel for your shoots? Maybe you have been booked for a destination wedding. It could just be that brief time you have to get away and take it easy. Whatever the reason, head to besttravelforless.com, where you can book all your travel needs. You can bundle the hotel and auto rental, book a flight for your next cruise, or host your next family reunion, and point everyone in the right direction with besttravelforless.com. Richard and Judy will be there to answer your questions and help you with what you are planning. They are your personal travel agents without all those nasty fees. You can find your way from the takeandtalkpics.com affiliates page or reach them directly at besttravelforless.com. Thank you, Photo World, for tuning in to this great episode here on Take and Talk Pics. If you got the same great value I did out of this episode, please, I encourage you to head over to takeandtalkpics.com so you can learn even more about this photographer and others. That's takeandtalkpics.com. See you soon.